Hey, it's U1 C3.L4 multiplying integers. Here's Mrs. Benoit.
Hi. This is the first video that you're going to do with us this year in 7th grade. So we're going to kind of walk you through how to do that in class. We'll do this one together. But this is what they'll look like, and you have the title and then the I can statement, and you know you need that for your notes. So this one is multiplying integers, and our learning target is I can multiply integers. By the end of today's video, hopefully you will be able to do problems like these three. You will see these three problems again at the end of the video, so you do not need to write them down now. Okay, there are two rules that go with multiplying integers. There's two kinds of integers that we have, the positives and the negatives. So for rule number one, when you're multiplying two positives, you're going to get a positive as your answer. And that's something that you've been doing since you learned your multiplication facts in elementary school. You multiply two negatives, that's also going to make a positive. So this is different than addition. When you were adding negatives, it was a negative. This is multiplying. When you multiply the negatives, it makes a positive. The idea being that when you multiply integers with the same sign, you get a positive integer. Okay, so if we practice that, I've got two problems down here, and you would write these in your notes as well. Negative 2 times 4. Hopefully you know 2 times 4 is 8. They're both positive, so that would be a positive 8. Then I have an example with two negatives. Negative 3 times negative 6. Multiply, do your facts as you know, just without the negative. 3 times 6 is 18. Since they're both negative, that's going to make a positive 18. All right, so that's rule 1. Rule 2 is when we have different signs. So if you're multiplying an integer, a positive and a negative, you're going to get a negative. And same with the flip. If you're multiplying a negative by a positive, you're going to get a negative. So multiplying integers with different signs equals a negative integer. Okay, so we have two examples of this as well. Negative 8 times 7. Again, just reach into your brain for those math facts. 8 times 7 is 56. But because 1 is negative, it would be a negative 56. And 3 times negative 9. 3 times 9 is 27, but because 1 is negative, it will be a negative 27. Okay, let's try some others here. In order of operations, earlier in the year, we talked about exponents. Remember when we did PEMDAS? What happens when we're multiplying with exponents with integers? We're going to look at a couple problems like that. So here we have 2 squared, 2 to the second power. There's two ways that you can think about that, okay? And what that means is that you take that number, 2, and you multiply it by itself twice. So you have 2 2's. 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. They're both positive, so we're going to have a positive 4. We can also have an exponent that's not a 2. We can have 3, 4, 5, okay? In this case, we have a 3, and you would read that as 2 to the third power or 2 cubed. Oh, I'm sorry, not 2. Negative 4 to the third power or negative 4 cubed. What that means is you take this number, which we call the base number, and you multiply it by itself 3 times. So we have negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. Do it in chunks. So negative 4 times negative 4. 4 times 4 is 16. And because it's two negatives, that's a positive 16. Bring down the remaining negative 4. 16 times negative 4. 16 times 4 is 64. But because 1 is negative, we follow rule 2, so this would then be negative as well. Okay? So when we had it squared, it came out to be a positive. Cubed is a negative. Look for patterns when you do problems like that. All right, and then the last one that we're going to do is maybe multiplying three different integers. 1 times negative 2 times negative 3. Again, you can chunk it together. 1 times negative 2, 1 times 2 is 2, but it's negative because one of them is negative. And then negative 2 times negative 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Because they're both the same sign, they're both negative, it would be a positive 6. Okay, so now let's go back to those problems from the beginning and see if you can hit our learning target. Can you solve these three problems? 7 times negative 10, negative 3 to the third power, and negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 4. Good luck.